Every Wednesday morning, Bill Connolly from ESPN puts out his SP Plus projections. You follow his metrics. He has Nebraska 27, Minnesota 27. I'm no football coach, but I will tell you that might be tough to have that game end 27-27. But it's going to be a close one. How's that make everyone feel? Another close football game on a Saturday. I posed the question, was it on Monday, I think, to Mike Schaefer? In a close game, would you rather have Nebraska offensively up 3 on the field trying to preserve the victory, or the defense on the field trying to preserve the victory, or vice versa? In a tie game, the defense to stop or the offense to score. But Bill Connolly likes it 27-27. Robin Washut from Husker Online, Scott Shanley in the next hour. But we start with Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Gary. Hey, this is Dave from over at the Big Red Memory Care Unit down at the Husker House. I've
Yes.
got the football Alzheimer's, remember?
Yes.
Hey, listen, first question. Was there a football game last night? Was there a Nebraska game last night?
Nebraska football?
Yeah.
No.
I woke up and I thought it was like between the third and fourth quarter. There's lights and okay. Anyway, hey, I've got this note here in my diary, and I've got must win, can't lose, GS. Now that's either my game strategy for Domino's this afternoon, or you talked about. Were you talking about that yesterday?
Yes, the other day. Whatever phrase you'd like to pick, is it must win or can't lose?
Okay, here you go. From the coach's standpoint, this is Scott Frost all the way down. This is.
By the way, Dave, I'm a big fan, so continue.
Of what?
I'm a big fan. I'm just going to sit back and listen here.
Okay. For all the coaches and Scott Frost, this is must win. And so here's what that means. They have to put everything into this. These guys have to be totally ready. And I'm drawing on my experience now. I coached back in the day. But the team has to be totally ready, and that's the coach's part. They have to be physically ready, mentally ready. They've got to know the skills. And I just think about this from back when I was coaching wrestling, and I look at Mitch and I said, Mitch, that kid wrestles you every time, and he beats you because he takes you down. And he can take you down more than you think you can take him down. So you have to ride him out. You have to change the scenario to put it into your winning perspective. You can't go out there and just say, I'll wrestle him freestyle, takedown for takedown. You're going to get beat.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, Mitch goes out, takes the kid down, rides him, changes the scenario, ends up in a win situation. So for the coaches, it's a must-win situation. Whatever they do this week has to put the team into a position where they are capable of winning. For the athletes, it is a cannot lose.
Okay.
And when you're in a cannot lose situation, you give everything you have. I remember winning a football playoff game, coaching as we won a football playoff game, and the kids were excited on the field when we won. When you win, you win. You're excited. In the locker room, when we walked in, it was dead quiet. And I looked at the coach and I said, what happened? I looked at the kids. I said, what happened? And Brian said, Coach, we're worn out. We're spent. We gave it all. It is a can't lose, and it is a must win. But it's different for the coaches than it is for the players. Now, hey, Gary, I'll just sit back. I got to go. They just brought me peaches, and I love peaches here. And I've got some of the. I keep those little containers of, when they bring coffee, and those little. And I kept a couple of those, and I'll tell you what, I pour that on there, and that's my favorite little treat. So, hey, thanks a lot.
God bless you, Dave.
Good talking to you, and maybe we'll talk again if they let me call.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Gary. It's good to talk to you. And I like that new guy. That new guy's really a nice guy. So, hey, gotta eat.
He's overrated.
Bye.
All right, that's Dave. That's your first dabble with Dave. Doesn't sound like a family member or anything. right? I was giving you some love.
No. No money has changed hands between Dave and I, although I would consider it later.
If you were if you were kind of following along there, so on Monday, I said, whatever phrase you would like, the Minnesota game is must win or can't lose. We talked about that yesterday of what kind of a statement would it be for Nebraska playing 8-8, and it's not a team that has a number next to their name. What would it mean? Well, first and foremost, it means 4-4 going into a bye. Josh and I are not going to do role playing again. His wife was a little uncomfortable listening yesterday. But it's easier to sell hope and promise if you are 4-4 instead of 3-5, and you're telling me that we're a good team. Well, good team's another sign of a good team, and making that jump is how do you handle playing a game like Michigan, where you knew you were going to win, but when you walked off the field, the scoreboard said you didn't. I don't think the mental part of this team, they don't ride the EKG. All of us are riding the EKG. But the team hasn't, even from the head coach on down, they aren't riding the EKG. Now, was the Michigan State game a downer? Was that depressing? Was that frustrating? Was that anger? All of the above. But I sensed something different after the Michigan game. Yes, disappointment, but not down in the dumps. I don't know how we get out of this. I'm not going to go Al Pacino once again. God, that's a great movie. You got to watch the whole movie. Some people just watch the speech. I love the movie. I wonder about the physical part. There hasn't been question this year whether Nebraska physically just can't match up to an opposing team. Now, I thought Michigan was big in 18. I think Michigan is bigger in 2021. But Nebraska, for the most part, held their own. Would you like a little bit more athleticism in your tackles outside? Would you like a little bit more speed on your rush ends? Certainly. But I wonder about playing the 8th game in 8 weeks, and 3 of the last 4 have been a lot of car collisions on the football field. I don't think they're worn out. And how you manage kind of an odd schedule of a bye happening next week. So you get guys off their feet. You get guys rested up. You let them sleep a little bit longer. Knock on wood, outside of Teddy Prohaska, Nebraska hasn't suffered a major injury. They have nicks here and there. They have some guys that were late getting into the lineup, like Travis Vokalek, yes. Casey Rogers still has not come fully back to where he was last year. But Nebraska has been able to avoid that one major injury until it's a significant injury, Teddy Prohaska going down against Michigan. So how you manage the course of this game going into a bye week. Because I also don't sense guys going, let's just get there, just 60 more minutes, 60 more minutes, 60 more minutes, and I'm going to have a Saturday off. 60 more minutes. I mean, they got to start, their bodies are starting to feel it. But I don't get, okay, let's just get through this game, and then we got the bye week. It's, let's get to this game because it's the 8th game on the schedule, and then we'll get the bye week. But how you manage 2 bye weeks in a short amount of time will be very important because Nebraska will come back. Then they will play 2 games, 2 entirely different opponents, 2 opponents that are going to sling the ball around the yard in Purdue and Ohio State. But then you get another bye right after that, and depending on where you are, you may be staring at a must. We've got to split the last 2 games, and they're 2 games in a short amount of time. You don't have a week apart. Remember, Iowa being on Black Friday, so it's a short week, and you're on the road coming back from Wisconsin to play Iowa. So the management of bodies and minds, along with the X's and O's, is going to be vitally important over this next stretch for Nebraska, of how you manage the byes and then how you come out of the bye week. And do you come out of the bye week just, okay, we got to the bye week, and all we wanted to do was to get rested up? Or do you come out of the bye week with tweaks? That's what I wonder will happen on Saturday. And I'm not going to wonder. Stop me. You know that P.J. Fleck will have something planned for Nebraska. They had the bye week. This is a huge game for Minnesota as well. They're sitting at 3-2. People are trying to figure out who you are. They don't really know. They saw Bowling Green. They saw Ohio State. They saw Colorado. They saw a muck it up, find a way to win a game against Purdue that was not pretty at all. Who are you? I think we got a pretty good sense of who Nebraska is. We got a pretty good sense of who Nebraska is. People are wondering, okay, who Minnesota is. But don't kid yourself. If you're coming off a bye week, and how you manage bye weeks is not only the mental and physical part of your players, but you also throw in some recruiting. You probably spend a little bit more time as a position coach or a head coach looking at tape. 2022 kids, 2023. So it's not, let's go, 1, 2, 3 Cancun when you leave the field in Minneapolis. You also probably do some self-scouting. You get that opportunity to go back and say, don't like this, what can we add? And then come out of the bye week with some new things. But then, man, you turn around and shortly thereafter you come out of another bye week. Do you treat the 2 bye weeks as one, the physical, the mental part, the second one, here you go, Wisconsin, here you go, Iowa, here are some things that we have not shown. So Minnesota just had their bye week. And their personnel is kind of shuffling around, especially in the backfield. They're trying to figure out why Tanner Morgan can't be better than a 52% completion rate guy and why they have an aversion to throwing the ball downfield and putting the ball in the end zone via the pass. P.J. Fleck will come out with something. He'll tweak. There'll be new things that Nebraska will have to prepare for. So that's the bye week is the 2 bye weeks will be important in the whole equation on how Nebraska gets to 6. But I don't feel like Nebraska's worn out. I don't get that sense. But I wonder, you've been banging for a while. This is where Zach Duvall shows why he's so respected inside of those walls. All right, Dave, thanks for the call. You probably will anticipate Fleck looking at every game that Nebraska's played. You know how important it is to him for this weird rivalry, this back and forth that is starting to take off between Nebraska and Minnesota. And I don't get the sense that it's really among the fans. It's more tit for tat between head coaches. They're like subtweeting each other, is what it feels like. But you know that Fleck has gone back and he's watched all of Nebraska's previous games, thinking, hey, what did Illinois do on defense that caused them so many problems? Let's see if Nebraska has fixed that on the fly. Let's see why Michigan State was able to have some success with the running game at times, and then why they weren't able to have some success. Why was Oklahoma able to run the ball with their running backs? What in the passing game will allow us to make Tanner Morgan's night comfortable, or afternoon, or morning? But and then trick plays. I don't know what's ever happened to the trick play in college football, or the trick play around here. The trick play is like been retired. It is in an old locker room somewhere hanging up. You don't think Minnesota might try a little trickery? The Big Ten loves themselves some flea flicker. We're on a roll of a Big Ten flea flicker every week. I don't think there was a flea flicker last week, but Big Ten teams like their flea flicker. You don't think Fleck will have something? Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
We'll call it the flea flecker.
Why? Why? You're now in timeout.
That's fair.
Because what'll happen is they'll run a trick play, you'll be blamed for it, and then it'll show up on a T-shirt. It'll have.
That's what I was trying to get in.
So this is the marketing hat that I'm going to put on here. Now that you've led me down this path, damn you, is you will have the design of the play. You will have, in quotes, flea flecker, and then you'll have like the row RTB underneath of it. And like a big picture of Fleck smiling, that smirk he gets on his face when he plays Nebraska, that'll be on the back. I've done God's work for someone out there that wants to put this together. But you don't think you're practicing this week, anticipating if something looks off, that Minnesota has dialed a little trickery up in their bye week? Fleck is 2-2 after bye weeks. Don't pay attention to any of last year, but his first 2 years off the bye week, they lost. And then in 2019, they had 2 byes during the course of the season. They beat Purdue, and then they beat Penn State. All right, 10:53. Robin Washut from Husker Online is coming up next. We will discuss plenty of items from Michigan and ahead for Minnesota. We'll get his thoughts on what Gage Stenger, flipping from Kansas State to Nebraska, what that means for Nebraska. What it means is the Luke Reimers and maybe even the JoJo Domans of the world at linebacker. And Nick Henrich was really, really good. He would have been good wherever he went. But some guys that are a little bit under the radar, that all they need is the structure of a college football program, get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, are those guys opening up the door for Nebraska to take a second look at somebody that has that kind of skill set? Instead of saying, well, what are their metrics? Saying, why don't we just watch the game and see and go, man, that kid can play football. I don't care if he doesn't run a 4.540. That kid has instincts. That kid can play football. That kid, we will find a place for him because we have enough faith in the guy with the dumbbells and the guys with the headset that we can coach them up. I think that's good on good on the Luke Reimers and the JoJo Domans that get their chance and they don't burn you. I mean, that's what a coach does not want. They get a scholarship player, they take a chance, and then you have a miss, and then you have a departure, and then you have this cycle of, okay, now we got to make up for that. So we got to go 2 recruits over that one guy. So we'll get Robin's thoughts on that and much more when you return. It's a Gary Sharp Show on a Wednesday, a mailbag Wednesday that is an hour away. Get in your questions for your opportunity to win a gift card from Oscar's Pizza and Grill. That's all still to come on the Gary Sharp Show. We roll till 2 on 1620 The Zone. Week 6 is here tomorrow night. FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. Tomorrow night is a great opportunity to give it a try. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. The Buccaneers and the Eagles. How is Tom Brady's thumb? He says it's okay. Well, just look at him throwing the ball the last couple of weeks. It looks okay. So if you're putting together a same-game parlay, what about the passing yards for Tom Brady? Is he going to go for 400 again? I would go over. Jalen Hurts has a penchant to run. How many running quarterbacks have the Buccaneers seen? He ain't going to beat a Jacoby Brissett. Hurts will be better than Brissett was on Thursday night. Look at his rushing yards. And how about the total for the game? Will this be a high-scoring contest in Philadelphia? Put it all together, and you could nail a same-game parlay bet on America's #1 sportsbook. So lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook and get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. And if you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up today with promo code Gary162 to also receive 30-1 enhanced odds on the Thursday night matchup. Win $150 on a $5 bet. That's promo code Gary162 so they know I sent you. 21 over, present Iowa. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Maximum refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and web. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.